Hello and welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision in N-Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 22 of season 2020. After many months, and in fact years, Rochelle is finally complete. This video is an overview of Rochelle, an overview of what's been completed just recently, and then an overall view of everything on the layout, including a cab ride in both directions. Before we get to the cab rides though, let's just take a look at Rochelle from one end to the other. Rochelle is 24 feet in length and 34 inches in width. I've been working on Rochelle for quite a long time, off and on actually. The bench work and track and all the beginning aspects of this portion of the layout actually began way back in 2009. So it's been 11 years that I've been working on this. But it's only in the past year that I actually got into putting down roads and houses and sidewalks and details and really getting it to look like a finished modeled layout of Rochelle. So here you can see how it looks from one end to the other. 24 feet from Del Monte, which you'll see here in just a bit as we turn around and see the Interchange Yard. So from Del Monte there all the way across through Total Logistics Control, which is on the other end, it is 24 feet. Now, one of the best ways to look at the completed layout is through a cab ride. So here we're in the cab, running on the left-hand side, of course, and we're entering Rochelle. I just most recently did work there on the cement plant and Heinz lumber, mainly just put in some gravel. And then you can see I have a parking lot there for Heinz lumber. And here we come past the trailer park and the old passenger station, which is still used by Union Pacific for storage. And here we're coming across Washington Street. That was Patterson Lumber on the left and the downtown on the right. We're coming under 7th Street overpass, and we can see the power plant on the left. Little bed and breakfast with a caboose on the right, and now we're crossing 9th Street and we see the Rochelle Railroad Park. I really love this view because this is what it looks like. I lived in Rochelle for 17 years, spent lots of time exactly here, and this is a pretty good representation of what the crossing area looks like. That's me right there looking at the trains as it goes across the crossing. That's the BNSF line that we cross in Rochelle, all in grade. And now we're coming up on 1st Avenue, which runs alongside the tracks and then crosses over. And then that's Highway 38 that the truck is on, going out to Ashton and further west. We see the Interchange Yard there on the left and the Del Monte warehouse. So that's 24 feet from Total Logistics Control, the cement plant at the very beginning of Rochelle, to this point right here. Now, technically speaking, we are still in Rochelle as we approach Global 3. With the Union Pacific Railroad built Global 3, Rochelle annexed the land going out to Global 3 and then including all of Global 3. So Global 3 is actually in the city limits of Rochelle, even though it's just like a mile outside of town. And we see a stack train. And now you can see on your left there, Global 3 with the engine facilities. And then you have a little work shed there for the containers and chassis. There you have the unloading facilities, some classification yards. So Global 3 here is on your left. A lot of it is blocked by the stat cars. Of course, you have cornfields on the right. Global 3 is basically out in the middle of a bunch of cornfields. Now from this cab view, you do get a good view of the check-in points for the trucks that bring the containers to and from Global 3. There you see the checkout there. And then from Global 3, we come into Franklin Grove. This is an area that I'm going to be working on next. When I get this area completed, basically this whole room will be done. You can see I need some work on the grain silos. There will be a crossing right here where that truck was. Need to do a little bit of work on Consolidated Barge and Grain Company there on the right. I have to do a little bit of work on the farm. And we are pretty much going across northern Illinois here. This isn't part of Rochelle, obviously, but you can't have a good cab ride without including going across the Mississippi River and into Clinton, Iowa. Not sure why the camera fast forwards there every once in a while. And now we are in Iowa and Clinton, Iowa. This is some work in this room that needs to be done a bit down the line. From Clinton, Iowa, then we go around the bend here and enter into the staging yards. All right, let's take a closer look at what was completed just recently. Here is the BP oil facility. Those are a couple of train cat kits, etched brass kits of an unloading facility that I just most recently completed. And then Total Logistics Control received a parking lot and some trees. And then you have the cement plant with some gravel around it, and Heinz Lumber with a parking lot, and then also a little bit of detail where the gravel is. So this has all been done. Put some gravel stops at the end of the tracks there. That's what I found has been the most common way that they have a stop for end of sidings there. So this is the east end of Rochelle, one of the seedier parts of town. Low rent hotel, junkyard. That's Washington Street going into downtown, where it turns into 6th Street. All right, we're going to do another cab ride, but now we're going to be coming in from the other direction. This is coming from Clinton, Iowa, and we're heading now eastbound. First thing we're going to do is go across the Mississippi River. The bridge across the Mississippi River is modeled after the actual bridge that goes across the river. It's a rotating bridge to let the barges through. Built this bridge from scratch about 10 years ago. So you have the rotating bridge there, and then a couple of camel bridge that we're going over right now, and then a Whipple bridge, another stack train that we're passing. And now we are in northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is pretty much cornfields from Iowa all the way to Chicago, although there are some suburbs that you get to before you get to Chicago. There's a farm there that I need to do some work on yet. That's going to be coming up here pretty quickly. Consolidated Grain and Barge Company there on the left will need a little bit of work, some details and some work on the backdrop. And then we come into Franklin Grove. I've been spending a lot of time getting Rochelle finished, which I pretty much have done, and now I'm going to be working on this area here, putting in roads and sidewalks and details. Definitely working on Pitzer grain there. So that's the next area, the farm and Franklin Grove. Here you get another good view of the check-in and check-out part of Global 3. You have the booths where they check in, and then the video sheds where they scan the containers, put them into the computer, and so on. Check for any radiation too, I believe. So Global 3 is on your right, cornfields on your left. So we are heading eastbound here. And then you have the workshop there for the container chassis and the containers, the engine facilities you can see. Now we are in Rochelle, that's been annexed, but we're actually about a half a mile outside of town. So we have a little bit of an area to go through here before we get to Rochelle proper. There are not woods between Global 3 and Rochelle, but I put them in here anyway because this is a 180-degree curve, and I definitely wanted to break it up so that you did not see the train on the entire 180 turn back curve. All right, now we're coming into Rochelle proper. You have the Del Monte warehouse there on the right and the interchange track. On your left, you have Highway 38, which comes into town. You can see Global 3 across the aisle there. As you see, we made a complete 180-degree turn. Now we're coming across First Avenue, which then runs right along the tracks and neighborhood there. All right, we're coming across the BNSF UP crossing. It's a 4-diamond crossing. And then you have the railroad park on your right. And the water tower and power plant. And we're coming up on, this is 9th Street that we're crossing now. That's Steve's Auto Repair there on the left. Coming under the 7th Avenue overpass and across Washington Street. That was Patterson Lumber on the right. There you have the unused passenger station, maintenance area there on the left. And then past the Heinz Lumber and the cement plant. Here you can see the Mississippi Railroad Bridge across the aisle. And then we're going to be crossing the Rock River, and then as we go through this hole in the wall, on the other side of this hole is Wheaton. So we're in this hole here, we skip about 70 miles or so. All right, here's another look at the area that I'm going to be working on next. This is Franklin Grove. So I'm going to be putting a road across here with a crossing. Looks like there's a dead person. They'll be replaced. I'll have to bury him somewhere. So there'll be a road across here, and then put in some sidewalks, and definitely going to do a lot of work here. Pitzer and Sons needs to be repaired, and then I'll need to put some conveyors from the grain silos up to the top tower. And then this area here on Consolidated Grain and Barge needs some work on the backdrop and some details. The farm needs some more details with some graveled areas and so forth. Here's again a look at Global 3. I've been retired almost 1 year. June 14th will mark 1 year that I've been retired. So this is all the work I've done in the last year. I started first of all on Global 3. All the bench work and track and ballast and all that stuff has been in for quite a long time. But over the last year, I've just been putting the finishing touches, all the pavement, all the details, all the different structures, everything. This has been something I've been doing for over the last past almost 1 year. And then we'll conclude with another run through of Rochelle, this time coming from the west heading eastbound. So we'll follow a stack train going east through Rochelle. It's been a lot of fun working on this during my first year of retirement. You can definitely get a lot more done when you're retired. But it's not that I've been spending 40 hours a week working on the trains. It's probably more like 10 hours, but definitely more than I had been able to do when I worked 40 hours a week, or actually it was more like 50, 60 hours a week. So it's been a lot of fun working on all this over the past year. And I'm also looking forward to continuing to work on other areas of the layout. In addition to this area, by the way, I also did River Forest. Might want to check one of my previous videos to see the work that I did in River Forest. So definitely got a lot done. Here you have the most recent area that I've done here in Rochelle. Overall, though, I've been very happy with how everything has turned out. I probably will, over the next few years, as I get things done on the rest of the layout, I'll probably come back and add additional details. One thing I might want to do if I come back to this area and do some more work is animate the crossing grade, the crossing signals and the crossing arms. That would be really cool to get that done, but there'll be other details I'll be adding. So definitely will keep me entertained during my retirement years. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, have fun running trains, especially in N scale. Take care.